Hey everyone, welcome. Melissa here from Endo Empowered. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today we're going to be talking all about fatigue, why you might be feeling fatigued. We're going to talk about some potential reasons, and I'm going to give you some ideas and solutions for you to try. So if you have questions, if you feel like sharing, one of the questions I'd love for you to share is, when do you feel the most fatigued? And I think you're going to find some of the insights that I'm going to share with you today will give you a little bit of an understanding of why that might be. So if you feel like sharing, leave it in the comments below. If you have questions about anything that I've shared today, feel free to ask those in the comments as well. All right, we're going to jump over to my iPad and I'm going to start. All right, so the key thing with fatigue is, one of the things I guess I want you guys to recognize is that there are kind of different aspects to fatigue. So there's kind of two areas, I guess. There's the physical side of fatigue, but there is also an emotional side to fatigue. And so we're going to look at both of these and look at, possible reasons for these. From a physical point of view, there are a few factors that may be attributing to your fatigue, for things for you to look into. So the first one is your iron levels. So if you're feeling fatigued, it may be that your iron levels are low. So you want to be checking if those are low. And the reason this affects your fatigue levels is because iron is the key transporter of oxygen. So if you don't have sufficient levels of iron, you're not going to get oxygen to your brain, to your various organs, to your cells, etc. And that will make you feel fatigued. So you definitely want to check your iron levels. Now, here's something that's interesting about iron. If you eat gluten or you eat foods that could be inhibiting iron absorption, that may be a factor. Now, gluten has been shown to be a factor for this because it kind of blocks absorption of certain nutrients. So gluten and anemia is quite common. So probably want to start there. So if you're feeling fatigued around eating certain foods, is another big factor here. Another reason why you might be feeling fatigued is to do with your thyroid function. So your thyroid is the functioning of your metabolism in your body and regulates all sorts of things like whether you feel hot, whether you feel cold, but mostly your metabolism. So if that is on the blink, then you may find that digestion of food, doing physical activity, doing things in general makes you feel fatigued. And this tends to be the case with hypothyroidism. So this is when there is low absorption of thyroids into your individual cells. So you have different things going on. It's quite complex, but there is an absorption issue with these particular hormones going into the cells. Now, if this is the case, there are a number of things that you can do to try and regulate your thyroid to get it back up to normal. But when I look at the emotional aspects, you'll understand why there's a little bit of an overlap here. Another reason why you might be feeling fatigued is to do with liver function. So if your liver is not functioning optimally, so if it is overloaded, it's got too much to do, which, when you look at endo and you look at the correlations here, it's quite common. If this liver function is low, you're going to feel fatigued because your liver is essentially got too much to do. It's overworked and overloaded, and this can demonstrate itself as fatigue in your body. Now, the reason why your liver might become overloaded is because there is too many toxins in your body. So these could be mercury, this could be lead, it could be digestive toxins, so things coming from your digestion that are interfering with your liver's function. But oftentimes what I find with endo and the liver is that it's actually got to do, sadly, with the treatments that we've been taking for many years. So things like painkillers, things like Lupron, so any kind of hormone treatments, like even the pill, all these things contribute to a high load on your liver. Particularly bad is painkillers, and I know for myself I took painkillers for every single day when I had severe endo. So you can imagine that over years and years and years that your liver is having to detoxify that and the impact that that has on your liver's health. So now that I've given you all the bad news, I'm going to share some solutions with you. So just looking at those three basic things, so your iron levels, your thyroid, and your liver function. Now there are other factors that will contribute, and we'll get to those in a minute. But from your iron levels, you want to look at foods that are high in iron and that are easy for your body to absorb. Now a lot of us are probably going to think of spinach. Popeye, depending on your generation, but Popeye and spinach kind of go together. So spinach is one of the key ways to get higher levels of iron. Obviously your meat, so we're not a big fan of eating a lot of meat, but when you do eat meat, you want to choose meats that are high in iron. And the actual meats that are higher in iron are your organ meats. So eating things like liver and kidneys, which I know most of us are going to go, ooh, gross, but depending on how you prepare it, can be super tasty. I remember having a meal in Spain and it was liver with potatoes, and it was just so yummy because it prepared a certain way and you couldn't actually recognize that it was liver. So don't necessarily shy away from these things. Very, very high in iron. Of course, we're going to look at this iron in terms of our oxygen in another level as well, because that is a key factor here. There's some ideas for you. The other one is, of course, to take a supplement, so something like Mangiста or Moringa. Moringa is a plant from Africa, and I highly, highly recommend it. It's very, very nutritious for you and will support your body's ability to absorb that iron. It's much easier as a plant-based source. And of course your seaweeds. So seaweeds, very, very high in iron levels. And that comes over to our thyroid because the seaweeds also support your thyroid. Now, a particular type of seaweed that I recommend is called arame. It doesn't have a strong taste. It's not vaguely seaweedy because some of the seaweeds can be quite salty and quite gooey and not that nice. But arame is very easy to incorporate into a meal, and it sort of looks like sticks and it looks like pasta. So it doesn't have a huge amount of taste. Very, very easy to incorporate. You can just literally add it into something like a vegetable dish or anything that you like. So that's the one I recommend for that. For thyroid function, you also want to look at your selenium levels, your zinc levels, your B vitamins, and making sure that you're getting sufficient amounts of those from your diet. Now, I do not recommend synthetic versions of these. They're very hard for your body to absorb, and really we want to be getting these sources from our diet. So selenium, easiest way to get that is to eat Brazil nuts. And the easiest way to get zinc is to eat pumpkin seeds. Your B vitamins is your grains, so things like buckwheat. Very, very high in B vitamins. So buckwheat is actually a seed, so for those of you who are worried about grains, they're actually seeds, so you don't need to worry about those. The other one we want to look at is your liver and really supporting your liver health. So we don't want to have sugar. Sugar is like poison to your liver, and it will make you feel a lot more tired over the long haul. Now, we naturally crave sugar when we're tired because it gives us a little booster. But long term, it actually is hard on your liver to process that much sugar. It's having to do a process where it's swapping that sugar back and forth. So you want to avoid sugar, and you want to eat fats, but you don't want to eat the wrong kinds of fats. So fats like deep fried foods, things like that, things that are hard on your liver are the oxidized fats. So fats that are been processed so you want to avoid those. So that gives you an overview of some of those. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When you're looking at your oxygen levels, oftentimes, I'm going to bring this together with your stress levels. So oftentimes when we are stressed, so when we have high stress, we actually breathe much more shallow. So our breathing is down here, and we're not getting enough oxygen. So the body is struggling because you're not getting enough oxygen to actually do stuff. And so that's where a lot of that feeling of tired comes from. So when we're stressed out, we need to bring this level down and actually just breathe. I know you've heard this, but do we actually do it? We need to come to a level where we're breathing normally, not this kind of really fast breathing, which tends to happen when we're stressed and we're anxious. I want you to start paying attention to your breath, paying attention to how your breath changes when you're in a moment of stress. The easiest way to do this is actually to watch different movies or different shows and start paying attention to your breath. When you watch movies that are about, scary stuff or violent things, those kinds of scenes, your breath will become much more shallow and you become aware of that. When you watch something calming and easy to watch, your breath will become normal. So what you want to do is deep belly breaths. Okay, so you actually want to breathe deep into your belly. You want to expand your belly and not just the diaphragm. So oftentimes we have very shallow breathing, very, above in the chest only breathing. So you really want to get into those belly breaths. And that will increase the oxygen and thereby give you more energy. There is a very simple technique that you can do right now to increase your energy, and that is to do lots and lots of quick breaths. So you actually go 4 in and a long breath out. So you literally go and you do that consecutively 4 times in a row, and you will feel more energized because you're getting a lot of oxygen being pumped to the brain, and it will make you more awake and you'll feel better. You'll just have more energy. So try that and let me know how you go. All right, so moving on to our emotional side of things, this is actually a key reason why you will feel more tired, because things are bothering you. You are worried about things. You have anxiety around things. There is a constant drive to do better, to be better, to do more. And it's this that actually makes us feel tired. So it's a feeling of overwhelm. And this driver is something that really needs to be looked at, because though you can do a lot of the physical things, if you are exerting these thought patterns onto yourself on a daily basis, where it's just, I'm not good enough, I need to do more, I'm feeling anxious, I'm worried about the endo spreading, etc., etc., and you've got these thoughts running around in your head all day long, that is actually going to make you feel more tired than anything else. And it's going to demand of your body that it physically can keep up with those thoughts and that energetic use of energy. If you think about all of those things running around in your head, that requires energy from your body. And so you're going to deplete a lot of those things, like your selenium, like your B vitamins, all those nutrients that ideally you want to use for something else, not worrying and stressing about stuff. So this is the emotional component that I kind of need to stress, because I think we often think it's just a physical thing. But more often when I work with clients one-on-one, when we work in our group program, I recognize a lot of us share these traits, and it's this that's actually more draining. So here's the shift that I want you to start to use, and shift away from this kind of victim state where you feel like you can't, things are impossible, it's all too much. All of that is a very victim kind of state to be in. And don't feel badly about it, because we've all been there, I've been there. It's very easy to get into that state. But move away from that and more of an empowered state. And when you're in an empowered state, you find solutions. You're looking for solutions. You are easing into a way of life that supports you. So you're not seeing it as a problem. You're seeing it as how I'm going to support my body. When we look at it as a problem, it's like we're making it bigger again. Whereas when you're looking at it from, I'm just going to support my body, I'm going to support my healing. What can I do to support myself? And the most basic things that you can do is taking time for you. So not stressing about everything else, but actually being in a space of joy. Doing things that make you happy. Being creative. Breathing. Being still. Being present. So things like meditation, things like yoga, these are things that bring you down, that ground you. They make you feel at ease again, content again, just being you, acceptance of self, love for yourself. That is where the real healing is. It's not in pushing and forcing and doing more. It's a place of, I've got this. I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to recognize what my body needs right now. Maybe it just needs to sit outside and chill out for 5 minutes. Maybe I need to eat something that truly nourishes my body. Maybe I'm thirsty. When we're in this state of anxiety and rushing and pushing, we're actually not listening. We're recognizing a problem and we're forcing and trying to solve that problem. But by thinking it as a problem, we're actually making it bigger. Instead of coming back to a place of, I'm at ease, everything's going to be okay, I'm going to find a solution. Things are going to come to me. There's a different way of looking at life in general. So you get the person who, they're all like, I'm a perfectionist, I'm going to get this, I'm going to do all the right things, I'm going to look a certain way, I'm going to do everything to the best of my ability. And this person pushes. They very much push through life. And sure, they may get there, but imagine how unhappy that person is and how stressed out that person is. And it's coming from a place of perfectionism, which ultimately means not feeling quite good enough. It's coming from a place of inadequacy. It's coming from a place of anxiety, of missing out, of fear, of worry. And this is where a lot of women are. So don't feel bad if this is how you feel right now. But here's the shift that you can make. You can come to a place of everything's going to be okay. I'm going to figure this out. I've got this. I'm okay. What I'm doing is good enough. Because when you come to that place, you actually zone into your zone of genius, your abilities, you recognize your strengths, and you play on those strengths. And you're a lot nicer to be around. So people are much more likely to be there for you, to support you. You're not pushing, you're allowing things to come to you. So things actually do when you're in this place, when you're in a place of just letting it go. So when you get into this state and you're in that happy place and you're in your zone of genius, you're actually in a place where we call the parasympathetic nervous system. And this is the place where your body can rest and digest. It can heal. It can be calm again. When you're in this state, you're in the sympathetic nervous system. And actually, there's not much healing going on in that state. So this is the place you want to get to. This is the place where your body can rest, where it can heal. You ain't going to heal if you've got all of this stuff going on, all of this worry going on, because your body is in a hyperdrive. It's in, run away from the tiger, stress drive. So no amount of supplements, no amount of eating perfectly is going to get you there if you're in this state on a constant basis where you're frazzled and stressed out. So find your happy place. Find the things that make you feel joyful. Look at things differently. How can you look at a situation and recognize that maybe you're making it bigger than it needs to be? Find that joy space. All right, so I hope I've given you some insights on why you might be feeling tired. There's a little bit of physical areas there. There's obviously a huge emotional component. Your hormone levels and your hormone balance in your body does play a part in all of this. So as you go through your cycle, you will notice that your energy levels shift. So recognize that. So during your period and before your period, it is quite okay to feel a little bit more tired than normal. This is a huge thing that your body's doing. It is expelling, it is working very hard during your period. But as you come out of your period, you go through spring and summer, we call them sort of different seasons. And that's generally when you will have more energy. If you have any questions on this, if you want to find out more, or if you want to join our program, which is going to be opening in the new year, so it's starting in March next year, you're welcome to come and register with us. This is the link for you to join. So if you're keen to join, and register, you can also, if you register early, then you get our special early bird pricing. So just go to endoempower.com/soon and you can register your details, then you'll find out all about it. Hope you found this useful. Would love to hear your comments and questions on this, and I'm more than happy to share more insights with you. Thanks again. See you. Bye.